Hi again. Here's more Horse Crazy. I'm on to the second chapter of Bonnie and Sam. What's it called? Racing the Tide. Okay, this chapter is called Setting Out. Good luck, look out for cars. Auntie Birdie had helped the girls saddle up and now she waved them on their way. I'll see you there when I bring your bags out, Bill called. Sam rode Blondie and Bonnie rode Tex. They felt like cowgirls riding through the main street of Currawong Creek. It was so early the shops were still shut. It's like in a movie when the baddies ride into town and everyone goes inside, joked Bonnie. Yeah, said Sam. Yee-haw, let's go. The horses broke into an eager canter and with pants at their heels, clattered up the deserted street and out onto the coast road. It was a still, sunny day and the old dirt road to the coast was quiet. If a car did come, the girls would hear it from a long way away and get onto the verge. They rode through open farmland where white-faced cattle stared at them in silence, and magpies perched in lines on gates, carolling as they passed. There's a picture of the girls leaving town, and then here's a lovely one of them going along the road. I love the way Roland draws the Australian countryside. Sometimes the road wound through the bush and dappled shade made the morning air cool. A kookaburra swooped past them, and on one straight stretch a lyrebird scurried across the road, his lacy tail trailing behind. It took all morning to get to Platypus Creek. This must be it, Sam. Bonnie looked down at a small grassy flat where a creek gurgled around one side and tall gum trees made patches of shade. They rode the horses down the gentle bank to water them at the creek. Blondie waded right in so the water was just below her belly, but Tex stayed at the edge. No matter how sweetly Bonnie whispered to him in horse talk or how persistently she nudged him with her heels, the spotty horse would not budge. I don't think we'll be going swimming at Whale Bay, Sam said. Woo had made corned beef sandwiches for lunch. Bonnie whistled Pants so she could feed him her crusts, but Pants took a long time to come to the picnic table. What's she got in her mouth? Sam put a sandwich down. Come here. Pants presented her phone. Pooh, it stinks. She took a closer look. Hey, Bonnie, it's one of those shells. It was an abalone shell with some abalone meat still inside it. That's only been dumped a couple of days ago, Sam. Bonnie had her detective face on. And what's it doing here so far from the sea? Show us, Pants, Sam urged the little dog. Show us where you got it. They followed her along the creek a short way, and there, behind a patch of tea tree, was a big pile of silver shells. It's got to be poachers, Sam. Bonnie's eyes were huge. There must be 100 shells here. This chapter is called Banksia Ridge. Oh, did I show you that picture? Beautiful picture of the creek. There's a lyrebird running across the road. And there's Platypus Creek with a platypus in it. This chapter is called Banksia Ridge. The girls saw the sea for the first time as they rode up from Platypus Creek, then spent all afternoon getting closer to it. When they crested the last big hill, they could see paddocks stretched out behind Whale Bale and the house and the shed sheltered by the ridge of Banksias that gave the farm its name. The road was a sand track now, and the horses' hooves were soft upon it. Six sheepdogs raced out, barking as the girls approached the shed, bearing down on Pants like a gang of bullies and sniffing her all over. A piercing whistle sent them all flying back, and a skinny figure appeared, wiping his hands on his trousers. That's Uncle Woody, Bonnie told Sam. There's the crazy dogs. And here's their farm, right next to the sea. The old man turned towards the house as he walked towards them. Vi, he bellowed, our drovers are here. Sam had never seen such a messy farm. Bonnie's father Chester believed in putting things away, and Peppermint Plain was as tidy as a park. Here at Banksia Ridge there was stuff everywhere. Old trucks and cars, tractors, rusty farm machines, sheds and yards, and almost hidden by a wild garden, the house with a sagging red roof. Vi showed them where to tie their horses while they unsaddled and washed them down. The enormous leaning shed was full of dusty harness and saddlery, cracked and perished with age. Vi noticed Sam staring. Yes, we used to have a lot of horses out here. My father, Bonnie's grandfather, sowed all this country to pasture using horses. In the olden days, this place and Peppermint Plain were part of the same cattle run. There's the old shed. Pants barked suddenly. I hear Bill's car bark, and sure enough, his police four-wheel drive pulled up at the shed. As Bill carried their bags to the house, Sam told him about the abalone shells at Platypus Creek, and he congratulated the girls on their fine detective work. There's something strange going on, that's for sure, sniffed Uncle Woody. We've seen some lights at night down at the beach and out at sea. That's right, said Auntie Vi, down at Skull Rock. There's Bill's car, and there's the beach with, I guess, Skull Rock. This chapter's called Drover Girls. The next day, Bonnie and Sam worked all morning mustering sheep and driving them back to the shearing shed. Auntie Vi rode a quad bike and Uncle Woody followed behind in the battered ute. Since my hip's seized up, it's the only way I can get around, he explained to Sam. The collie dogs skulked around the sheep like spies, cutting off escapees and barking at the slow coaches. The youngest dog, Barney, kept doing the wrong thing until Vi got sick of yelling and made him sit behind her on the bike. Bonnie was used to herding cattle and sheep, but Sam had never been a drover before. It took a while to figure out how to make a sheep go the way he wanted them to, but once they took off, the mob flowed across the paddock like lava. By lunchtime, 300 sheep were locked in the pens under the shearing shed, ready to be shorn the next day. Now it doesn't matter if it rains, said Vi. You can't shear them if they're wet, Bonnie explained to Sam. So there's Vi on her quad bike, and there's the drovers with the sheep. The hut. After lunch, Bonnie and Sam followed the track across the sand dunes to go riding on the beach. Indigo clouds hung on the horizon, leaking columns of rain into the sea. The horses snorted and propped when they saw the wide expanse of the beach and crashing surf. At the water's edge, Blondie plunged straight in, splashing through the shallows like a toddler. Come on, boy, Bonnie whispered to Tex. It's only water, you'll love it. But Tex would not go in. He ducked and danced and scurried sideways like a crab to avoid even the tiniest creeping line of foam. When the girls swapped horses, he was just as stubborn for Sam, ignoring her drumming heels like he'd ignored Bonnie's horse talk. So they gave up and cantered down the beach, letting the horses race for a little way, then easing them back to a canter, a trot, and finally a walk. That's Skull Rock, Bonnie pointed. We have to watch the tide here. If it comes in too far, we won't be able to get back. And look, Sam was pointing inland. There's a hut. There the girls are on the beach with the horses. They rode up to a small wooden building nestled in the lee of the dunes. It was weathered silver and a lopsided tank held rainwater from the roof. The only door opened onto a veranda. Through the small windows, the girls could see 2 beds and a table. Wouldn't it be great to come and stay here, they said at the same time. Of course you can go and stay there. Auntie Vi seemed just as excited as Bonnie and Sam. You'll have a lovely time at the old shepherd's hut. Our kids used to go down there when they were young. After dinner, they walked out to the beach, Woody leading his way with a torch to look for phosphorescence. We call them glow bugs, Bonnie told Sam. Sometimes we see heaps of them. They slosh on the waves, then fade in the sand. Tonight there were no glow bugs, just the moon shining on the dark sea and a starry sky. When they turned to go home, Sam spotted a dancing light on the sea. What's that, she called out, but it disappeared as soon as it spoke. Suddenly it flickered again. That's down at Skull Rock, said Vi. That's that same light we've been seeing for months now. Maybe it's abalone smugglers. Maybe it is, said Vi in a spooky voice. Or maybe it's the ghost of Skull Rock. So there's the lovely hut. And there they are out on the beach. That same picture we saw before. Shearing. You're going to be busier than a dog with 2 tails, Woody told the girls at breakfast, and he was right. By 7:30, the 2 shearers, Max and Jimmy, had started shearing, tipping the big ewes onto their bottoms and holding them with their legs. They trimmed off all the dags or dirty wool off with the first blow of their shears, then stroke by stroke cut off the creamy fleece. Jimmy's grandson was the rouseabout, picking up the dirty scraps and bagging them, sweeping the floor and flinging the fleeces onto the slatted table for the wool classer to inspect. Bonnie and Sam brought the sheep up from under the shed to the holding pens and made sure the catching pens were full. The shorn sheep looked naked and skinny without their thick fleece, and it was funny to see them sliding down the chutes to the outside pens. There's a great picture of the shearing.